Hello to all the investors that are watching this update for you. My name is Ashley. I am from Serco Realty and I work quite heavily with buyers agents and private investors that are looking to buy in WA. I want to provide you guys with an on-the-ground update of what's happening in the sales market and the rental market and in the tenancy market as well, because what our vacancy rate looks like and what our investors are experiencing are a little bit different. So I just want to go through and explain what is happening on the ground at the moment. So the first market I'll talk about is the sales market, and the sales market, we are finding home opens very large. So when I'm going to attend home opens on the weekend for buyers agents and investors, I definitely am experiencing a high volume of people going through them, and the people coming through them are a big mix of sort of larger families and parents also wanting to help their middle-aged children. When I say that, parents looking to help their 30-something-year-old children get into the rental market, and also a mix of first home buyers. And of course, there's always plenty of property managers and buyers agents attending these home opens as well, looking on behalf of everyone. So home opens in the sales market are definitely large, and that is for all areas I'm finding, whether I'm going south or north, they are all very, very busy. It's not unusual for sales agents to potentially cancel home opens on the weekend if they've got a good offer. So it's really important to always just check in the morning of the home open if that is still going ahead. Sales agents are still receiving multiple offers for properties, and what I'm experiencing is that my investors are definitely having to pay over and above maybe what the market rate is for the property, and I am definitely seeing these rental yields tighten up a lot. Previously, we were really working with investors, making sure that they were buying with around a 5.2 to 5.3% rental yield. That's definitely changing. So this week, I've had a couple of clients purchase properties. They, for example, may have purchased something for around $645,000, and the rental appraisal for that property has been closer to the 600 mark per week. We might be able to push to about $620, $630 a week, but that's for a $645,000 purchase. So we are definitely seeing that across the board, but investors are still okay. I'm finding happy to spend that little bit extra just to secure something and be done with it, because you can imagine some of these investors have been looking for months, and they're at the end of their stamina. And so for them, that extra 10 or 20,000 is not a big pain point for them. So I am noticing that in the market. The other thing that I'm noticing with investors is once upon a time, they were so desperate for properties that were 700 square meters. Now that is not the priority. The priority is really just getting something in their budget. So they definitely are looking at smaller blocks around that 400 to 450 square meter block, and even considering smaller complexes with, 4 villas, 4 townhouses, or maybe a duplex. That's not unusual, because that is currently one of the only ways that some people can buy in the market. So definitely seeing a change with priorities, with block size, and that's also been quite interesting to watch. Now, from the rental market is very interesting, and this is the bit that I'm really keen on making sure that you are aware of. With investors that are paying potentially over and above what the market is for a property, they are still expecting that 5.2, 5.3% rental yield, and they are trying and advertising for that price, and they are not getting the inquiries they're expecting. So we have definitely seen a drop-off on inquiries in the outer suburbs for homes. Now, these homes are all pretty reasonably priced, anywhere between, say, $500 and maybe $650 per week. And we're finding that we're only getting between 2 to 5 inquiries, or 2 to 5 people registered to attend these home opens, which is very, very low. And the thing is that we may hear in the media about some really high volume home opens with renters lining up to go through. And in fact, that's actually not happening for the houses. We are seeing that happen for apartments and units and properties sort of under 500 per week. So 1 to 2 bedroom apartments are getting smashed with inquiries and definitely getting those big numbers of home opens. But when we're looking at properties in Falcon, Gosnells, Merriwa, your traditional sort of investor areas in the outer suburbs, 2 to 5 people through those home opens is quite normal. And we're also seeing a lot of people cancel across the board as well. So even though that many people are registered in, you might only get a couple of people turn up. So for this reason, it's really important that investors take the opinion and the advice and feedback from their property manager, making sure that if your property manager is not getting anyone through, that you consider tweaking the price to meet the market a little bit more, or you make sure that your advertising and marketing is looking good online as well, just in case. Definitely, obviously, having professional photography is a bit of a no-brainer these days, and just making sure that that's all looking sharp. Making sure that your property manager is being accessible for home opens regularly, daily, every 2 days, for example. But just be mindful of that price and don't just think that because the media says, there's a 0.4% vacancy rate, why isn't my property renting out? It's very normal for those outer suburbs. So I just want to make sure that sort of everyone is across that, and also just across the fact that while you may have paid that extra for a home, that rental yield may need to be reflective on maybe the price it should have been as opposed to the price you paid for a property. This week we found that the highest amount of rental inquiries at a home open was in Yangebup. So Yangebup is south of Perth. And sort of closest to the Fremantle area, and 21 people through that home open, which is actually a really great number. So I was very happy to do that, to see that. In regards to budgets, investors, they're still looking at around budgets of 550 to 650,000, maybe 700,000. It's a very popular price point for investors to buy in Perth, and you can get something decent for that. And the suburbs are still the classic suburbs that I'm seeing: Merriwa, Clarkson, Gosnells, Kenwick, Langford, Queen's Park. We're still seeing people buying down in Waikiki, Coolongup, but I would probably say out of all the areas that I look at for clients, the Rockingham area, I'm seeing the lowest when it comes to rental yield. So that's not really stacking up in my comfort levels in that area. There was recently a sale in Rockingham sold for 650,000, and I did a rental appraisal at 550 per week for that property. I said to the sales agent, listen, I feel bad because 550 per week for a 650,000 purchase is not fantastic numbers. And I said, maybe go get another person's opinion as well. And the other person gave her a rent opinion of 500 per week for a $650,000 property. So that's in the Rockingham area. So that just gives you an idea of some what I consider poor case studies. And ideally, we are still looking for purchases and returns. If you're spending 650,000, I really want to be getting around 630 to 650 per week is really where I'm comfortable in suggesting that that's consistent with what the market's currently doing. So hopefully that gives you just a little bit more insight with what's happening on the ground. And what's happening today is the 26th of June, 2024. So for those, that are watching it down the track, you know the date that this is relevant for as well. And if you have any questions, please comment below for me and I'll be happy to answer them for you.